I'm keeping the mic up.
This is probably the longest Batman's ever stared at me. Yeah. Thank you. I did it for you. I did it for you.
You should really clean your shower curtains.
Oh, no, that adds character.
And lung disease.
Yeah.
Here on ConspiraTheory today, I have a guest, wonderful, smart, brave man, Professor Whistleblower. He has been seeking out the hidden truths of the world. He's been over land and sea. And you are here to tell us about some of these conspiracy theories. So,
Yes.
Okay, the first one, let's go with Nephilim. Have you heard of Nephilim?
I
Can you
have,
explain to me
actually,
what
yes.
these Nephilim
Yes.
are or might be?
Yes. Well, it is my understanding. Thank you for having me, by the way.
No
I
problem.
really do appreciate it. Buy my book, in case you're wondering. I do have a book or three, but you'll have to search the interwebs for them. Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem.
It's
It's my honor to have you here.
As a professor of whistleblowing, I got the name from learning things that I shouldn't be learning. And one of those things was Nephilim. And for the audience, if you don't know what Nephilim are,
Yes, explain that one for the
they
audience,
are
please.
officially, unofficially, they are the offspring of the fallen ones or the fallen angels. If you understand biblical history, preferably or specifically in Genesis 6, you'll see that there were some fallen ones that begot human wives, and they had later had
Means they
offspring.
did it.
Yeah, they got in there. They cracked the code.
More like tore it apart.
Yes,
Whatever.
and they had offspring. They had babies, which were known as the men of renown, the men of old, a.k.a. the Nephilim. Yes, and if you keep reading in the Old Testament, and also there are some other known texts that were found in a cave some years ago, known as the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Book of Enoch goes into detail about these fallen ones and their offspring. David and
You
Goliath.
ever been to the Dead Sea?
No, but
Don't run into the water after shaving. It burns like a motherfucker
oh,
because it's so salty.
you always shave before you go swimming?
No, but I did that day and I made a mistake.
Huh. I would think it'd be quite exfoliating.
That's what they say,
Yeah.
but I ain't getting mudded up.
I'm actually not supposed to admit that I've been to the Dead Sea because I am a whistleblower after all. I've never been there.
Okay. I think he's doing a whistleblow right now, guys. But that's neither here nor there.
No.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yes.
Allegedly.
That is
Now-
that's a word we're going to use a lot today.
Nephilim. Is that only one kind, or are there various types of Nephilim? Like, what's going on?
Well, there were multiple cultures back then, and I'll keep it brief, but there was a scattering. And so there were multiple cultures, multiple scatterings, and some even believe it goes all the way back to Atlantis. The Greek gods who came down and picked human wives and had their hybrid offspring.
Oh, like the stories of Poseidon and Zeus.
Yes,
and
the men of renown, the men of old.
I had never
yes, the
made that
Greek men.
connection. Actually, that's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
if you parallel historical documents with Bible, scripture, you'll find a lot of similarities. And some may argue, well, Atlantis isn't in the Bible. Well, it doesn't need to be. It talks about the dwellers, those ones who dwelt from Atlantis and in Atlantis. It was a city center. It was a grand center. And I do believe that there are multiple cultures, a hierarchy, and all of that as well.
Sure. Yes. I think a lot of things point towards that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. If you go to the hieroglyphs in Egypt,
Yes.
you see these giant figures on thrones with bird heads and multiple animal type of heads and human bodies. very large figures, large in stature, and then they have the human servants. So,
Yeah. And we're not even gonna get on the topic of Thoth and the green tablets. So
Yeah.
that's for the next episode.
But were they really green?
I'm thinking maybe jade.
Jade, yeah.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
But jade's over in East Asia. I don't know
Yeah.
where else. I really don't. But I don't like stones as much as Cam Patterson. So whatever.
Well, I heard somewhere along the lines that green is not a creative color, so we don't want to give it that much credit. So jade, I think, would be a good way
Jade
to put
sounds
it.
better.
Yeah, she's a nice lady.
Until she isn't.
Yeah.
Okay. So Nephilims are giants, or are giants one type of Nephilim? That's my question.
That's a great question. Nephilim describes, a certain type of being, but we know the human beings, there's multiple types of human beings. There are
I
smart
completely
ones, there
believe
are
that.
dumb ones,
Yes.
there are large ones and small ones, right?
Mhm.
Much like, angels. Angels, they refer to what they are, right?
How do they refer to themselves?
So that's a great question as well. I've never met one. I may or may not have. Allegedly, I have met a fallen one. Allegedly.
Really?
Yeah. Now, believe it or not. But yes, there is
Okay,
hierarchy.
Ripley.
But their names are based on their duty, what they do.
Ah.
Right.
Yeah.
Archangel, all of these things, that is their duty, that is in their nature, that is what they do. But refer to themselves, which is that's a compliment in some states, some probably southern states. But yes, their names refer to their what they do, and they're not like little babies with wings,
Are they fantastically revolving wheels covered in eyeballs with a lot of wings?
I am happy you went there. Their scripture
That's kind of a cool.
refers
That's
to.
a pretty cool concept.
I mean, think about it. You've got these descriptors in scripture, in Bible, and I don't mean to go very deeply into the Bible, but we do get some descriptors that there are wheels within wheels and eyeballs everywhere and heads with multiple faces. But we do know that when men encounter these beings, they faint with fear.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, because they can't handle. I mean, what's your favorite movie?
Battlefield Earth.
So imagine, okay, you are walking down the street and you see Mr. John himself. He's, for those of you that don't know, he's the one that played one of the main characters.
Oh my God, Sandy!
Right? Like you see this actor in real life in front of you. There's a switch in your brain. Is this real? Is this not real? I've seen you on TV. It does something to you. It's like the red light on cameras. When you hit record on a camera, it just makes you do weird things.
Makes you get on nerves.
Yeah.
What kind of alien did John Travolta play in that film?
Oh, I don't remember the names of them, but it had something to do with, what was it, Xenu? Xenu, I think he was...
Zardoz?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Zoltan.
Zoltan? Has something to do with the volcano god.
The Scientology, right?
Yeah,
Is that
yes,
the one?
Yeah. I'm not too familiar
That's right.
with
It
those
is a
guys.
Scientologist film.
Yeah,
I always forget that.
They like to shut themselves off from the world. I wish they would share more,
Apparently, they have great Dianetics tech, but whatever.
And their video production is top-notch quality.
Is it really?
It is very good quality, yeah.
What are some of the alleged races to walk among us?
Well, I'm happy you brought this up because a lot of research studies, people refer to these fallen ones as the alien greys, right?
They're the fallen ones.
Well, not to say specifically.
The gray. Okay.
It's thought that they are agents of, or just suits, containers, for them to travel and do what they do. I hear that they abduct humans and do crazy things to them, and. But there's also the tall white ones, which are known to have very, very pale skin, and they wear all white. There's lots of stories.
Not to be confused with the Nordics.
No, those are different.
What's the difference between the tall whites and the Nordics?
The Nordics are human. Some are known to be hybrid, but the tall white ones are essentially another race of alien beings.
Wasn't there one in the 50s like Thorson? It was like
No, that was
7
my
feet
next door
tall?
neighbor that always used to go swimming in my pool late at night without my permission.
No, Valiant Thor. That's an alleged Nordic that
Yes.
worked with the U.S. government. Valiant Thor. Check it
Okay.
out. Check it out, guys.
I
Valiant
have
Thor.
not entertained that one yet. Of course, I'm just a whistleblower. I
Sure.
don't travel very often.
So, the Greys, the Tall Whites, the Nordics. Are there anyone else operating on this rock?
There are more. There are more out there, but it gets into some dangerous territory because there are places like CERN. The Hadron
Yes.
Collider.
Yeah, the one underneath the Alps. Is that the one you're referring?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're trying to break open portals and access dark matter, essentially trying to find the elements of creation, how creation started, and it often makes you wonder. Going back to the Book of Enoch, it is known that these fallen ones taught human beings the things we know today, like the art of war. There's also the donning of makeup and jewelry. And one lesser known, the gnashing of the womb, otherwise known as the A word, the abortion. Yeah, so they had taught human beings all of these things. And then it goes back to,
Well, would the legend of Prometheus, the Titan giving
Yes.
fire to man
Yes.
against Zeus's will,
Correct.
would that
Yes.
does that belong in that
Oh yeah.
wheelhouse?
Yeah. The going back to Atlantis, you have the Greek gods and all of that. For some reason, us human beings have a hard time drawing parallels between, aliens, fallen angels, and the gods, the Greek gods. How can they not be one and the same? We just know that there are multiple cultures describing them in multiple languages. So naturally, yes, there would be.
Would the Nordic deities also be aliens / Nephilim,
Well, see, no, there's where
or even the Egyptian, not pharaonic, excuse me, but the ancient
that's where the
Egyptian
water
ones.
gets a little muddy, right? Because we have to be able to have a distinction between the fallen angels and the hybrids, the human angel hybrids, which would be the Nephilim. Yes. For those of you that don't know,
It scrambles the signals.
a technique.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I will not. I'm still working on mine.
Yeah, it's a little.
So I use different technology to block the sound waves. So I have an implant.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was due to a car accident. It hurt my back, and the only way to keep my back straight was, hey, we're going to put this chip in your back. It's going to monitor everything and keep you
Oh, the
safe.
mark of the beast. No.
Oh no. But they do call the technology beast. But
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm not in denial either.
That's interesting.
It's great.
Is it an acronym or just beast? Oh man, this is cool. We're gonna call it beast.
Yeah, it's an acronym for something. But I'm afraid if I say too much, I might give away too many secrets. I'm a whistleblower, of course, but I'm not a
Big,
horn
extra
blower.
angry super time. Beast.
You just gave away my secret.
I guess the student has become the master.
It hurts being right, doesn't it?
You get used to it.
Yeah. So back to Atlantis and the angels and the fallen ones.
Yep.
There's actually record, if you read the Book of Giants, which is not canonical to Scripture, but it is a historical document. A lot believe that it's nonfiction.
Sure.
But there was an angel that went by the name of Semyaza, and they had these rituals.
Once more?
Semyaza.
Semyaza.
Yes. And they had rituals, right? Ritualistic weddings, and they chose wives for themselves, and later had the offspring, the Nephilim. But if you dig a little bit deeper, those women who were their wives, their physical beings changed into what we know as the sirens or the mermaids.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because they gave up their lineage to serve a fallen deity, their physical form was then changed.
So I guess similar to the snake having legs, going against the order, and then now you don't. So these ladies are now fish people?
Well, there are a lot of theories about the snake, the serpent. You're referring to the serpent in the Garden of Eden, right? And after Adam and Eve sinned, that the snake was then cursed to crawl around on its belly. So does that mean that it once had legs? Some believe that the snake, the serpent, was being used by the entity of Lucifer himself. So many theories along that lines, but I think that's a discussion for another day.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, these aliens, these Nephilim, they've taught us many, many things, and things like, well, taught us things that gave us the inspiration to develop our own technologies. They're aliens. They came to us from outer space. Is there any? Well, obviously there is, but is there any kind of esoteric or clandestine, occult nature to the development of what do you call it? Aerospace technology?
Of course.
Is a rocket more than just a means to get to the moon?
Well, I'm not really an engineer in that sense, but I do have friends that are involved in these programs. Now they work in clusters. So you may have a company that makes, the side panels for this ship, and then you may have a company that makes the bolts and then the different chambers and things.
Oh, right.
They don't hire
NASA
one
hires
company.
several. Yeah,
Right.
I knew a guy who worked on one of Musk's Falcon rock. I think the
Yeah.
Falcon. Yeah.
So these individuals don't know what the final product. They don't even know what it's for. They're just building these
and
things.
who are these
So
people designing? Where did all this boom in high tech come from? And I noticed it came late 40s,
Yes.
early 50s.
World War II era.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's said that Hitler himself got his hands on some ancient alien technology and was trying to or attempting to reverse engineer it.
Yeah, I heard they had like flying saucers.
Yeah,
out in
there's-
Antarctica.
Yeah, I can't speak too much on the subject. Again, I'm just a lowly little whistleblower. But yes, they did have some.
Not lowly. You're big help.
Well, I'm
Humanity
sitting.
appreciates this.
So they again, thank you for having me. They
It is
were-
our honor. It is our honor.
It is known that they were attempting to reverse engineer this technology, and during that time, of course, they lost World War II,
Yeah.
and we were able to kind of snatch up a lot of this technology.
Us? Just us?
Well, there were other nations, but the U.S. for the most part, they had the highest bidding on a bunch of these things. But of course, you have the other factions who sweep in, and that's another conversation for another time. But yeah, they just like the fallen angels, how they taught human beings
Was
certain
there
technologies.
What
They-
do people
they
call this? Oh, I'm sorry.
reverse engineering? I would say that.
Was there like a designation for this whole operation?
Well, yeah, there were operations like I believe Paperclip may have been one of them. Operation Paperclip. Of course, there were many journeys to the North Pole, where it is believed that there are some bunkers there and underground bases. Deep
I
underground bases.
wouldn't put it past
Yeah, I mean,
that assumption.
why wouldn't you want to bury something in a place where nobody will want to go? I mean, of course, But going back to
Big
the
duh.
fallen ones, they taught us these things. They taught us how to adapt. They taught us sorcery and witchcraft and all of these things. And of course, before they came, they left their designated place. Now we don't know if that was a planet. We don't know, because right now, these beings, right? If you think about it, when they died, they weren't supposed to be here. And you and I, as humans, when we die, we have a spirit, right? That's in our body, our soul. They're not supposed to be here.
Wait, are we stuffing dead giant bodies into the rockets? And is that how we're getting them out of here?
No, I don't think we're getting them out of here. I think that they're still studying their dead bones in their bodies, and that's why the Smithsonian snatched up all the buried giant bones that they found here in the United States some years ago.
Yeah, over in the
1800s.
Grand Canyon area,
Over
right?
there, yeah. There's lots of speculation that there might be an underground base over there housing a lot of.
Oh,
these
I'm
bones.
certain. A deep underground military base or Dumb.
Dumb.
There are plenty of dumbs
Lots
in
of dumbs.
America.
And it takes dumb people to build them and use them.
But they're hard
I'm
workers.
not a fan of the politicians.
So where else do you think these snatched up Nazi scientists, where else could they have been placed or used?
I do believe other nations were able to get in and had different means of saying, hey, we're going to protect you if you give us this knowledge. We're going to save you from this other nation if you come with us, and later being, essentially deceived.
Yes.
And held prisoner.
Yes.
Because somebody's got to own all the bombs. I mean,
Yeah.
weapons.
Yeah. Well, when it comes down to us or them, well, it ain't gonna be them.
Yeah, if you look at the USA, for example, they're the country that has the most military bases across the map. I mean, imagine you're just walking to Subway to get your favorite, veggie sub, and right next door you've got a North Korean military base you got to walk past, and those guys are.
That would be wild if I got my Subway right next to the North Korean embassy.
Yeah.
What a time. Plenty of stories.
They might have noodle dishes at that Subway instead of sandwiches.
Maybe.
Yeah. But that's another topic for another time. I won't blow the whistle on that. Did I answer your question about? Well, I mean, if you think about going back, they did teach us, these things because they left their territory and had to adapt.
Yeah.
According to the Book of Giants, the Book of Enoch, they only lived for 500 years.
Only 500 years.
Only.
I'm not doing so great at 38.
That's all right. We were supposedly taller back then, too. Humans.
Oh, yeah, with the
The
megafauna.
atmosphere was different.
I totally believe that theory.
Yeah.
I buy into that one. But, man, what was weather like back then when there was so much more biological resource, oxygen, just anything?
Yeah.
Was weather worse then, or is it worse now?
Well, I would say that weather is worse now.
Worse now.
Yeah.
Why is that? Any theories?
Well, this is less of a theory and more a fact. Again, I am a whistleblower. There's technology.
Which we all
out there.
appreciate.
Thank you again for having me. There's technology out there by a group known as HAARP, HAARP, and they're into weather modification and measuring certain things. And some would even believe that they control the hurricanes. They can steer those bad boys. Now, I'm not going to say that that's true or not. But why do they send a plane?
Driving a hurricane?
Why do they send an airplane out to all of these?
I don't know.
And then they put it on
maybe
the
it's like
news.
loaded full of candies. Like, you spin that way, you get some Starburst.
I definitely want to ride that plane.
I want some Starburst.
Yeah. So there's multiple theories about steering hurricanes, and I don't know so much about that, but they do have weather modification tools that can create rain. It's called cloud seeding.
Right. They shoot a rocket with some cobalt or silver or whatever.
Silver iodine and all of that. But even more so, there's a more recent theory that came to light, and I remember this one. This one hits close to home. 20 some odd years ago, I was screaming from the hilltops, like, hey, they're spraying chemicals in the sky.
The chemtrails.
And they all called me a theorist and an idiot. And now, I would say in recent 10 years, they've had represent people who represent those people come out and basically downplay the fact that they're doing this. They're admitting it, but they're downplaying it because you can't call it chemtrails because
what do they refer to it as if not chemtrails?
It is seeding, cloud seeding,
cloud
as well
seeding?
as the whole. One of the main reasons they do this is to reflect sunlight from the atmosphere to keep the world from getting too hot. Global warming.
Sure, but it will have an adverse effect.
Oh,
that
sure, yes.
we are
There are
not
many
prepared for, I'm
documentaries about
certain.
this. Hawaii experienced some negative side effects. Their crops were failing. People's hair were falling out
Because they weren't getting the sunlight.
and the barium that was in the chemicals that they're dispersing was changing the rain and basically chemically changing the trees, and the bark was just falling off. And yeah,
That's not good.
no, I mean, if you think about it, Bill Gates, why do we need GMO seeds? Why does the world need that?
What was wrong with seeds for the last few thousand
What was wrong
years?
with them to begin with?
Yeah.
The only good thing I can see from those GMO seeds, and this is a fact as well, when those seeds, the wind blows those seeds across the street to a non-GMO farm, to an all-natural farm, they can sue that farm for stealing.
Oh, that's crap.
Yeah, and they've done it plenty of cases out there. Oh, yeah. And there's a whole new water thing, too. Water theory's coming. You know, the Bush family owns the largest aquifer.
Really?
Texas, yeah. The land over the largest aquifer in the States. Yeah, that's why they bought the land, because, you know, get ready, folks. There's going to be water shortages and water problems coming, just like COVID, you know. Yeah, but you got to stay inside and don't use water. You can't even collect rainwater in most states. You will get fined.
Yeah.
Because you're stealing water from other people, even though it's coming from the
How
clouds.
well do you think Florida might hold out? We are largely an aquifer, peninsula-wise.
Yeah,
not so much the Panhandle.
If we don't go under the ocean anytime soon, we'll be the last bastion of freedom.
Well, that's I certainly agree with that.
Yeah.
How many decades or centuries until we're swimming here?
Well, if it's not done intentionally, like Atlantis destroyed itself. It wasn't a comet.
Hubris.
That came down, right?
Watch
It's
out.
Hubris. Yes.
Ego, pride. Watch out, y'all.
And I will say this too, that I believe we don't know those things of the past for a reason. I do believe that we're not supposed to know these things, hidden technologies and ancient technology, because of the hubris. There will be those who want to take advantage of it and control the world. Like, why do we need CERN? Why do we need to pop holes in time and space? Why? I like the ground I walk on. As a matter of fact, I do it with no shoes on. I connect with the frequencies.
It's
of
never
the
a good
earth.
idea to go poking around the primordial ooze. Never.
No, because then you got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and how are you going to explain that to everybody?
Okay, but that's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Mikey's the only reason why I eat anchovies on my za.
Yeah.
He's the only reason. I would have never done it in the first place if not for Mikey.
What would their kids look like?
Gross.
Would they have a shell, or would we have
Would
to
that
buy
make April a siren? Ew.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother time.
Episode
I think.
3.
Yeah, episode 3. The great bestiality debate.
Ugh. Cenk Uygur would love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, going back to the technologies, I think that we all know that the current technology that we see today was being worked on 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And I do believe that Roswell was, in fact, a drone. I don't believe that it was aliens.
You think it was a drone?
Yeah, and I think it was a drone operated by some newer technology. That's why they held the bodies, because the only way that you could fly those, there is a theory that I'm not a fan of, is that the Greys are actually future humans coming back.
I've heard that.
warn
I've
us,
heard that, yeah.
I'm not so sure about that one. But I do believe that
Wild.
they are suits.
Maybe
flesh suits.
Greys are the jerks over at CERN trying to, repair whatever mistake they made.
Yeah, supposedly the Greys are the military branch of the aliens, and then the tall whites are more of the elegant race that actually lives and thrives.
Hmm.
Yeah. Not sure what planet they're on, but I sure would like to visit.
Maybe it's in the center of the Earth. You know that theory?
I have heard of this.
The hollow
yes.
Earth theory?
I have heard of the hollow. I've also heard of the hollow moon theory.
Yes.
Yes.
I've heard of the hollow moon theory too.
Yeah, the hollow Earth is where Godzilla or King Kong lives. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was terrifyingly enlightening.
Oh, we're wrapping up here.
We're
almost done?
wrapping up.
Wow. Do we have any time for some final thoughts?
Final thoughts. The weather control stuff frightens me.
Yeah, there's lots of proof of that.
Like forming a series of tornadoes just to tear through a town. That's
Yeah.
scary. Hurting hurricanes.
Yeah.
onto
Well, it helps the
Florida.
insurance companies,
Yeah, I guess so.
because you got to keep the world going around. Holidays are even conspiracies. Jesus was born in September, right? And just about every quarter
I've
we
heard
have a holiday.
September
September the
and
11th.
January. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. all of those things. So yeah, well, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. I hope I've done well in securing this location and anonymity. And
it was very difficult to find. You did really well with your security.
Thank you. Well,
Yeah.
I learned from the best. Oh, uh-oh.
Well, don't worry.
Uh-oh.
Don't worry.
Uh-oh.
They won't find you.
Uh-oh. Yo, cut the feed.
They won't find you.
Cut it.
Everything's fine. Everything.